Sup dude, Rudy Gobert is a very easy player to hate because he does a lot of stupid things. From crying because he wasn't an all-star to shutting down the entire NBA, many people have many different reasons for disliking the French rejection. Personally, I like Rudy Gobert, just because I love players who are great at defense. I feel like the NBA is lacking in players willing to go out there and give their best on the defensive end. I really enjoy when a player has that hard D. Although Rudy is one of the best defenders the league has ever seen, people, including myself, are starting to wonder, what the hell is he doing in the offseason? He has no offensive skills really at all. All he can do is catch the ball and go for a dunk, layup, or if he misses, he's pretty good at putbacks. Usually players use the offseason as a time to focus on learning new moves and expanding their skills. It's a perfect time to do so. They have a few months without any games, so they have all the time in the world to get better. For example, Atlanta Hawks center Onyeka Okongwu isn't a very good shooter, but earlier in the offseason, I saw him make a post saying by the start of next season, he'll have a jump shot. Could you imagine how lethal Rudy Gobert would be if he could wet that bitch up? Every NBA team would salivate at the sight of him. I don't want to hear any excuses either. The dude has been a professional basketball player for 9 seasons, and he still can't shoot a jump shot. If you really think about it, that's completely ridiculous. If a 12-year-old kid can learn how to shoot a 3 from watching Steph Curry highlights, I'm sure Rudy can learn with a professional training staff. Maybe the Timberwolves training staff will be better than Utah's. Speaking of the Timberwolves, I absolutely love how Rudy fits with Karl, and I believe that Minnesota will improve a lot with this duo. Karl loves to play on the perimeter, attempting around 5 threes a game last season, and Rudy has no fucking clue how to do anything other than stand under the hoop, so it just works. However, Karl doesn't strictly play on the perimeter, he also likes to post up, so this might cause a bit of a spacing issue with these two on the floor. Maybe Rudy will learn a thing or two from playing with Cat. Who knows? I saw this video of Rudy hitting a mid-range jumper during last year's preseason, and in all honesty, it looked clean as hell, which makes me question why he doesn't attempt these in-game. He has good form for a 7-footer, and if he started to at least make some mid-ranges, he would help his team out a lot. Alright, I'll stop dissing him and show him some respect. Rudy has a 7'9" wingspan. Standing at 7'1", this gives him the ability to pack the living shit out of anyone trying to penetrate the paint. He provides a much needed defensive boost to Minnesota. No diss to Karl, but he isn't exactly the best defensively. Without Rudy Gobert on the floor in 2022, the Utah Jazz had a defensive rating of 117. If you don't know how defensive rating works, the higher the number, the worse it is. With Rudy on the floor, the Jazz had a defensive rating of 110. That's an improvement of 7 points. Last year, the Jazz didn't have a ton of defensive-minded players except for maybe Royce O'Neal, but for a team that lacked in players good at defense, I think it's fair to say Rudy impacted the game tremendously on the defensive end. When the Stifle Tower is standing in the paint, he simply just scares the other team. Nobody wants to attack him because there's a good chance their shot is going to get sent to the stands. Having him on the floor is a complete game changer. There is one last thing I'd like to mention, and that's Rudy's performance in the playoffs. A lot of people say he's the reason the Jazz have gotten picked apart, but I firmly believe that's not the truth. I believe it was Utah's lack of perimeter defense that ruined their playoff dreams. In the playoffs, their opponents like to play 5 out on the perimeter, which made it extremely easy to blow by the likes of Donovan Mitchell or Mike Conley and get a layup or force Rudy to help, which opened up an easy 3. It wasn't entirely Gobert's fault. It was the entire team's fault. Anyways, I would also like to mention he is a former 3-time Defensive Player of the Year. He's been an All-NBA selection 4 times and an All-Defensive selection 6 times. Whether you like him or not, you have to admit Rudy has great D. It doesn't look very likely, but if Rudy were to practice his jump shot or post moves or literally anything, he would be a much more respected player. If you like this video, you'll probably like this one, so click it. Hope you enjoyed. Bye, dude.